up. Then we will have time trials for the modifieds and then get on with our actual heat races for the rest of the classes here at Lucas Oil Speedway. So early underneath the sunshine, the Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace truck rolls out from over in turn number 2 with 10 stock cars back behind him, all led out by Miles McHale out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. The Missile in the number 21 will sit on the pole in that Terminator chassis. Mark's Automart, CBD Racing Shocks, JDM Management, and Bill Henderson Racing, sponsors for the Missile. On his outside, past track champion here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks, Mason Beck out of Urbana, Missouri in the 05. Butch Bailey and Blaine McMillan make up row number 2. Butch out of Novelty, Missouri in the 111, and Blaine on his outside in the number 24. The 34 of Appleton City, Missouri's Blake Bolton to start inside row 3. James McMillan on his outside out of Warrensburg. Back in row number 4. We go back to the Republic native and Alan Lejuhan, who currently sits 7th in the point standings. He starts 7th in our first feature tonight. James Ellis on his outside in the 83. And then the final row has Zach Zeigen out of Fair Play, Missouri, and Christopher Sawyer out of Buffalo, starting in 10th. So 10 cars ready to start for the O'Reilly Auto Parts USRA Stock Cars. And if there's been a division here at Lucas Oil Speedway that has been hampered by the rain more than anybody else, it would be these stock cars. Only had the opportunity to run pretty much one feature so far, but they have been here multiple times. Rained out in March, rained out on April 26th. So the Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace truck makes the hard right-hand turn. He will go off into the distance over in turn number 2. And the field is under the control of the Missile, Miles McHale. A 2-time winner on the season, Mason Beck on his outside, keeps that high line rolling. Blaine McMillan behind him, Butch Bailey on the inside of row number 2 and through the O'Reilly Auto Parts start zone underway, and immediately the front row will swap sides. Mason Beck dives below the Missile, and the Missile goes to the high side off of turn number 2 and then jets out by 3 car lengths. Beck stays on the low side. McHale trying to find the cushion up top, get a little bit of grip, and will. And a big wad up back behind him, tears off the entire right side of Blake Bolton's car, but both cars stay in motion. They don't actually stop, but Blake Bolton's got some heavy sheet metal damage, still riding along in 5th behind James McMillan and Butch Bailey. The other car that was involved in that, I believe it was Blaine McMillan in the 24. See a little bit of damage on the left front of him, but the top 2 cars are duking it out and battling it out. Miles McHale has the upper hand so far. This time he stretches it out to a 6 car length advantage. Blake Bolton has drifted back a couple of other spots with all of that damage. He has now fallen outside of the top 5. The cutaway car flashes down the front stretch. You get a good look at Blake Bolton on the inside. That side looks pretty darn good. The other side, not so much, as Miles McHale continues to pull away, and he is stretching that lead out even more. He's now gotten it out to a pretty sizable advantage over Mason Beck. And now Mason Beck, he's going to crumple it up over in turn number 4. So Beck brings out the first Midwest Sheet Metal caution. And he does so 4 laps in to our 20-lap main, as Miles McHale had built up a 3.7-second advantage over James McMillan. And Mason Beck, he is going to have to go to the flat side up atop of turn number 1 and 2. See if he tries to go to the hot pit and get anything fixed, or if there's just way too much damage and he's going to go ahead and just call it an evening. James Ellis in the 83 is going to have to get a push on the backstretch, and we do see Mason Beck go right past the hot pit, and he is headed back to his car hauler. We started with 10, we're down to 8, and the 2 cars that got knotted up in the opening laps now line up nose to tail with Blaine McMillan in the 24 and Blake Bolton in the 34. No right front fender, no right side door for Blake. Hasn't seemed to be hurting him so far, as Miles McHale has the front row all to his own. James McMillan chooses to go to the inside. And we'll shuffle Butch Bailey to the outside. So your top 3, McHale, McMillan, and Bailey. And we'll go at least one more lap around, trying to get James Ellis's car back to the pits. As he will get a friendly nudge down the ramp. And the lights will turn out on a beautiful night. Chamber of Commerce weather. We couldn't have made it any better here at Lucas Oil Speedway for Mother's Day weekend. Hope you're doing something special. Well, we know you're doing something special for your mom tonight if you got them at the racetrack. Couldn't ask for anything more than that. As Miles McHale through the Lucas Oil restart zone, back underway as the green flag up in the air. 16 laps remain for Miles McHale, where it was Mason Beck right behind him trying to challenge for the lead. That now goes to James McMillan. He rides in the number 8, and he's going to use the Mason Beck line down to the bottom of the track, and Butch Bailey stays top shelf through 3 and 4, and that opens the door for Christopher Sawyer. Sawyer to the inside, new man number 3 in the running order, and that is Christopher Sawyer. Christopher Sawyer's number 12, kind of a plain Jane look. No real sponsors, no real decals, but he is anything but plain. He's turning some of the fastest times out on the track right now. That last lap time for him was just barely over 20 seconds even. So he is starting to catch up with James McMillan. As the conga line goes down the back stretch, the only one to really break formation to the top side continues to be your race leader in Miles McHale. Everybody else stays bottom of the track through 3 and 4. And do the exact same thing over in turns 1 and 2. The Missile has found something on the top side as he has broken the 20-second mark. He is down to a 19.945, so the fastest lap turned in through 7 laps so far for these O'Reilly USRA Stock Cars goes to Miles McHale, your race leader. But Christopher Sawyer now battles with the 8 of James McMillan, right on the back bumper. Follows the tire tracks of the Gator Graphics Gangs number 8M. Down the back stretch, Sawyer will give up a little bit of time, but you see him just gobble up that deficit as they go driving into the turn, and Butch Bailey does the exact same thing. Wow, he cut out about 5 car lengths that time through 3 and 4. Zach Zeigen in the 35Z sees what the 3 cars in front of him are doing and tries to do the exact same thing as they are not budging off the bottom of the track at all. If you're going to get around the 8M, you got to do something different. Christopher Sawyer knows that. We'll see when he decides to do just that. Is he going to go to the outside? Is he going to try to dive bomb and get to the inside of the 8 and push him off of that line in the middle of the turns? All the meanwhile, Miles McHale builds it up now to about an 8-car length advantage, and it just continues to get bigger. 1.3 seconds. Now the advantage over McMillan. Already past the halfway mark. Miles McHale has led all 11 laps so far. He started on the pole, started bottom side of the track. Before he got even into turns 1 and 2, he shot right up to the cushion, and that is where he has lived. He has found the grip on the top side, and with 8 laps to go, that lead now 1.7 seconds over McMillan. McMillan now challenged by Christopher Sawyer to the inside. A little bit of a bobble from the 12. Has to lift up off the gas, and then he's right back down on the loud pedal. Half a car length behind McMillan. Though he had to do something different. He's going 1 groove lower into the turns, trying to get that nose to the inside of the 8M. Just has not made it pay off yet. Butch Bailey in the 111. He sits back in 4th. He would love for those 2 cars to get side by side with one another and maybe open the door for the 111 to leapfrog both the 2nd and 3rd place running cars. 14 down, 6 to go. McHale's lead now over 2 seconds. McHale across the line. 5 laps remain. You see the 5 fingers from Chris Loberg up on the Foley equipment flag stand. And McMillan's little bobble, Christopher Sawyer to the inside. If there's anybody that has lap times comparable to Miles McHale, right now it's Christopher Sawyer. Problem is, he's ran out of laps. 4 laps to go, and he is 2.5 seconds behind. He's going to need to have the help of a Midwest Sheet Metal caution if he wants any shot at Miles McHale, and Miles McHale doesn't want that to happen at all. He would love to see this thing go green and clean for the final 3 laps. And James McMillan was running good lap times whenever he was on the bottom of the track. Now that he has gotten booted from that low line, he's lost a couple of more spots. He's now rim rides around the top. Zach Zeigen will go to the inside. Butch Bailey will go to the inside. The floodgates have opened. And James McMillan, that is paying it right now as he has lost a lot of track position with 1 lap to go. Christopher Sawyer, we told you he was running better lap times. He has knocked off 0.6 of a second to Miles McHale, but he has ran out of time. Down the backstretch through 3 and 4, Miles McHale will head off of turn number 4. He'll see the checkers in the air. And the 21, the Missile out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, picks up his 3rd win of the season, and they have come on back-to-back races. A win at Mason City, a win at Fairmont, and now he will win again. He has won 3 times in 2025, and Miles McHale picks up the win on a double-dip night here at Lucas Oil Speedway.